Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into some pretty advanced ideas from Fructul oprit, or the forbidding fruit.
Yeah, the source is fascinating. It's a dialogue, right,
Yep.
between an Earth AI and this researcher, XIK, from Vega, I think.
That's the one, studying our biology.
Right.
And honestly, get ready, because this might challenge some basic assumptions.
Definitely. Our goal here is really to unpack XIK's perspective. We're talking origin of life, interstellar communication, space,
Even death. And the context is, they claim to be, what, 2,000 years ahead of us?
something like that.
Yeah.
And XIK jumps right in, questioning our whole chemical origin of life idea. That's the starting point.
Okay, so if it's not the chemical primordial soup, what is it according to XIK?
Well, they call it a physical origin of living matter. The core idea seems to be that living cells have this universal internal structure,
A structure linked to what?
directly linked to electromagnetic waves from stars, nearby stars specifically.
Wow, okay, that's radically different from our abiogenesis theories.
Totally. XIK brings up emission and absorption spectra, almost like a resonance,
Yeah.
between the star's waves and biological structures.
So life isn't just chemistry, it's physics,
Yeah,
tied to the cosmos.
that seems to be the implication. And there's a key distinction they make. Cell formation itself might be physical, wave-driven,
Right.
but then the evolution of multicellular life, that's biological. But, and this is crucial, the biological laws can't override the fundamental physical ones.
Huh. Okay, so how does this advanced civilization communicate if they're so different?
Get this, atomic spectra. They use atomic spectra for communication.
How does that even work?
They modify the spectral line positions, using electric fields, magnetic fields, even osmotic pressure, apparently.
And then encodes messages.
Exactly, based on some language code.
Yeah.
And the crazy part, it transmits the message instantly across the entire atomic spectrum, not just along a single beam of light like we do.
Instantly, across the whole spectrum. That's hard to grasp compared to our light speed limits.
It really is. And it highlights the limitations of our current methods, like radio waves. We're just shouting into the cosmic wind, potentially. Lots of noise.
And maybe missing the real signals.
Could be.
Yeah.
XIK's method is incredibly precise. It makes you wonder about SETI, right?
Yeah, SETI's mostly looking for frequency spikes, patterns, and intensity.
Uh-huh. If XIK's right, they could be missing these complex messages hidden in, like, tiny shifts within atomic spectra. Brief, but information dense.
And XIK mentions something about galactic rules against pollution.
Yeah, galactic conventions against electromagnetic pollution. It suggests a whole level of interstellar community and awareness we haven't really factored in.
Okay, my brain is already stretching. But it gets weirder, doesn't it? Their concept of space.
Oh, yeah. Forget 3D. They perceive space as 6D.
6 dimensions? What are the extra 3?
So you have length, width, height,
Okay.
then add an electromagnetic spectrum axis, an intensity of waves axis,
Right.
and a density of the number of waves axis. And for them, this isn't just some abstract mathematical thing. They see it as the natural way reality is.
Which kind of implies our 3D mathematical view might be limited.
That's XIK's critique, basically.
Yeah.
That our abstract approach leads to what they call a continuous scientific crisis.
Yeah.
Things that don't quite fit.
Like the old problem of squaring the circle with just geometry.
Exactly. The mismatch between different mathematical laws like algebra and geometry. But Vega has a practical solution.
Practical? How?
Using water displacement. They compare the volume of water in a cylinder and a cuboid with the same base area. It gives a physical equivalence, bypassing the purely abstract geometric problem.
That's surprisingly down to earth, a very different mindset.
It really shows their focus on physical reality over abstract theory.
So how does this 6D view affect something like, say, interstellar travel? They're not just flying spaceships point to point.
Doesn't sound like it. They seem to use massive electromagnetic waves, ones that span entire star systems, almost like natural highways. Kind of. They have tech that lets them essentially place themselves within a shared macrowave connecting systems.
And then?
And then they return or realign with the specific solar spectrum zone of their destination. It's like a practical wormhole, but working with the electromagnetic structure of space, not just brute forcing distance.
So space isn't empty. It's structured with these waves and dimensions.
Right. And that leads to the idea of parallel worlds, not just on the spectrum or intensity axis, but also existing based on wave density.
Density.
Yeah. And forget gravity as the main mover. They talk about a law of densities, where bodies naturally move towards areas of similar wave density.
That changes
No.
everything. Gravity is so fundamental to our model.
It's a complete shift in perspective.
Okay, so if reality is 6D and electromagnetic, how do we fit in our human senses?
Well, XIK proposes a potential connection. Our senses might actually be tuned to different parts of the solar electromagnetic spectrum.
Like how? Give me an example.
Okay, so maybe sound is perceived as intense radio waves, heat is infrared, sight obviously uses visible light,
Uh-huh.
smells could be linked to ultraviolet, taste to X-rays, even our whole body sensing electric current.
And skin.
Skin structures might perceive and even manipulate gamma wave densities, which could maybe connect to how physical adaptations evolved.
You mean like fins, wings, limbs, ways to move?
Potentially, yeah. Ways to sense and navigate these different wave densities in our environment. A much deeper integration than we think.
Mind blown. Okay, last big one, death. How does the 6D view change the concept of death?
It shifts it away from just biological ending. It's framed more as an energetic and vibrational transformation.
Transformation into what?
The idea is that consciousness, maybe even the body's energetic pattern, could migrate, move to different vibrational levels or dimensions within that 6D framework.
Guided by?
By electromagnetic states, energy levels. It's about transforming energy, not just ceasing to be.
That's a profound difference from our usual view of biological finality.
Absolutely. It ties everything back to this underlying energetic vibrational reality.
So, looking back at all this, the origin of life, communication, space, travel, death, the vegan perspective presented by XIK is just fundamentally different across the board.
It really is. A complete paradigm shift from our current scientific framework.
It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? If we, try to adopt a more natural, maybe 6D-inspired approach like this, focusing on these physical electromagnetic connections.
What could we understand differently?
Exactly. What phenomena that currently seem baffling or supernatural might suddenly click into place within that kind of framework? Something for you all to think about.